Okay, nice job there, Sandra. Sandra works at Bel Air Music, and you can tell because every week she comes in with a wacky instrument or something else, and you got to put it in somewhere. I feel bad. So Sandra, what's next week? The hurdy-gurdy. Oh, great. Anybody know what the hurdy-gurdy is? It's a European instrument. Kind of looks like Noah's Ark with the top cut off and 5 strings put on it. It's got pegs to tune it. It has a winding sound like a bagpipe, but it has a crank on the bottom. You have to keep turning it to get the sound going. You don't want to hear it. It gets its name from its sound. Hurdy-gurdy, hurdy-gurdy, hurdy-gurdy. It's actually a very nice medieval instrument. You should check it out sometime if you're bored. Okay, not to be outdone, we have another guest artist here, Richard Nemi, who's going to do some guitar on a tune that's made famous by Jimi Hendrix, and that's because he wrote it. Richard, how you doing over there today? You want to play a chord for us? I mean, it was in 1967. Oh, just one chord, please. That sounds to be more like a single note. Have you got like a full chord? Okay. Be thankful if you don't have a guitar player at home, everybody. Especially in 1968. Anyway, Jimi Hendrix released the song Fire in 1967, actually, in the band and the album Jimi Hendrix Experience. And actually, it was covered by many other artists. For instance, Alice Cooper did his version of it, used for TV commercials for Chevrolet Camaro, Pontiac Sunfire, and even Verizon used it. And most notably in the most recent times, Red Hot Chili Peppers actually used this tune. So we're going to do our version of it, and with Richard Nemi playing a lot of the guitar licks right from the album. Actually learned it by ear, so he's going to try it out tonight. Here we go. Anybody actually heard that song before? Yeah. Out there, seriously, anybody heard it? There's two versions that I've heard out there. There's one that was recorded on that album, Jimi Hendrix Experience, and the other one is at Woodstock Live. Guess which one is really fast? The Woodstock Live version, absolutely. As a matter of fact, we did it somewhere closer to the original. The one at Woodstock just rips through it. It's amazing, actually, especially when you hear how fast he could play. Okay, going on. We tried something a little bit different this year. As you probably realized already, that we got quite a mixture of tunes here that we like to perform. This one here was actually recommended by our color guard instructor, Barry Garth. And when we first looked at this one, we thought, oh, I don't know, if this one's going to work on the street. Well, funny thing is, it does. It sounds great on the street. You wouldn't expect it for a disco tune. So we're going to do that one right now. We're going to bring up one of our drum majors, Anthony Giglio, who's going to conduct, and it's Boogie Wonderland. Disco. I told you what it's going to do to young people, that disco stuff. Hey Barry, that was a good choice, by the way. I'm glad we picked it. Well, you picked it, but the color guard's choice. Okay, next one. By the way, that was a 1979 tune, and it went gold actually in 1979. Earth, Wind, and Fire is the band, in case you didn't remember. Okay, next song. We're going to really bring it right down here a little bit and do an old Dixieland standard. And it's called Just a Closer Walk with Thee. And many of you may recognize the title or maybe even know the hymn. Just a little bit about Just a Closer Walk with Thee. Generally, it's one of the most popular New Orleans jazz sounds. Dixieland got its birth in the southern United States, and particularly in the New Orleans, in that French area. And it was customary back then, because a lot of the bands actually marched. They didn't do sit-down concerts in halls so much, but they moved a lot. And in keeping with the tradition in the early jazz, what they would do, particularly when somebody passed away, or when a famous jazz musician or a popular jazz musician at the time passed away, it was customary to play the slow hymn on the way to the gravesite for the ceremony, and then after everything was done there, to jazz it up all the way on the way back and celebrate the life of the person, because that's what they would want anyway, to remember all the good times and all the great contributions. So we're going to do a Calvin cluster arrangement of this tune that the Canadian brass, very famous brass quintet, world renowned, recorded. And today, though, it's just a closer walk really is known not only for its early Dixieland roots, but it's actually used a lot in standard jazz and Dixieland band performances. So it's used in a very peppy way in many times. And just so you know also, just a closer walk with you, it draws its theme from a biblical passage from Corinthians 5:7 where it says, walk by faith, not by sight. We walk by faith, not by sight. And it's one of the most famous spirituals of all time from the southern United States. It goes right along with songs like He's Got the Whole World in His Hands and When the Saints Go Marching In. So it kind of goes in that vein. And you'll recognize it. When we do this song, you'll hear the slow funeral dirge, and then you'll hear that really jazzed up, peppy version of it with numerous solos that I'll introduce after the piece. Here we go.